unfortunately, we don't know how to debate. After what we've heard today, does anybody here have a topic that they would like to debate? Even if you don't particularly agree with that topic, or if you want me to take the side of that topic and you take the side of non-therapeutic straight chiropractic, we can do that as well. Would anybody like to debate it? And you can choose the side of non-therapeutic straight chiropractic, and I will have the side that you would like for me to have.
I would like to say.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Okay.
Do it in Spanish.
That's great that you can.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm
so
gonna
you-
be the non-therapeutic.
Excellent. And what would you like for me to be?
Straight chiropractor, just what you are.
So you want me to, wait a second.
Yeah, so, okay, so this is one, I'm gonna be, physical therapist.
Okay. So you're gonna be a physical therapist, and I'll be a non-therapeutic straight chiropractor.
Yes.
And what is our topic of debate?
Spinal correction. Like, you have special therapists that do that, so what's the difference between you and me?
Okay, but now, where are we opposing each other? Give me something to oppose.
Like, I can do the same thing that you do.
Okay, so you're saying that you can focus on the facilitation of the adjustment of vertebral subluxations?
Of misalignments, yeah.
I don't do this on this. I can't debate from that side. And keep this in mind, and this is a very good point, because, well, you guessed it, I've dated doctors of physical therapy who specialize in manipulation of the spine and extremities.
Okay.
And we agreed on everything. There literally was no debate, because he's like, I don't do what you do, and I don't want to do what you do. I like treating people and adding mobility to joints. And she would do that on different parts of my body, and it'd be awesome. And then she was having her spine checked regularly for vertebral subluxations that are defined in a detail that she was never taught, even though chiropractors were teaching her at the first school of Doctor of Physical Therapy located in St. Augustine, Florida. She's like, we do not have the education of the vertebral subluxation that you do. We do not want to see people on a regular basis. We just enjoy treating conditions through physical medicine. And unfortunately, we just couldn't debate anything because we agreed. And this is actually hard because I do different podcasts. And if you want to make your podcast engaging, you have to have people with opposing views who are debating and going back and forth. If you don't have that polarity, it's not as popular. This is why your buddy Andrew Tate was so popular, because he was so polarizing. Because people loved him or hated him, and there was no in between. Which I saw a post saying that he has lung cancer, which I thought was weird. Did you guys see anything about that? Anyway, check it out. It could be not true. So, let me know what you guys find. Within or without chiropractic, and see, it's harder than you think. Because in order to debate something, we have to be on different sides of the same topic.
Okay, so let's both be chiropractors and I'll play like a mixer.
Okay. All right, and what's the topic?
Why only adjust spine?
Vertebral subluxation.
Yeah.
Okay. Why exclusively focus on the adjustment of vertebral subluxation?
Yeah.
And I want to be for that, and you wish to be against that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, we want to time it. Someone set a timer for 2 minutes each.
Okay, I got one right here.
Do you want me to start?
Yep,
Okay,
started.
started. In discussing why it's so important to have the exclusive focus of the adjustment of the vertebral subluxation as a chiropractor, if we look at the beginning of this profession back in 1895, there is one thing that has been consistent throughout the profession, that its focus was on vertebral subluxation specifically, and that there is an art to the adjustment of the vertebral subluxation, both in the analysis of the vertebral subluxation and the adjustment or facilitation of the adjustment. And in this art, it is relentless pursuit of excellence that, from its conception, the vertebral subluxation has been central. And our knowledge of the vertebral subluxation and the best ways to analyze it has expanded tremendously over the past 127 years. And my argument would be, in this ever-growing pool of knowledge about the vertebral subluxation and the different logical conclusions we can come from, and even certain areas of research that are leading us to the importance and the devastating potential effects of a vertebral subluxation, to add anything else to chiropractic is only to dilute our ability to find a vertebral subluxation and safely facilitate the adjustment, as well as educating the public on the uniqueness and the separate and distinct identity that chiropractic must have, being a non-duplicative profession, unlike anything else. And there is a massive danger to duplicating other professions in the therapeutic model to do a same service that somebody else better trained than a chiropractor can do, interfering with the ability of the public understanding what we do and our ability to deliver it. I went over my distinguished opponent shall have 20 more seconds added to his time.
Okay, so,
That was my opinion.
wait,
Yeah, we have got to set the clock, bro.
okay. So, first of all, vertebral subluxations are not proven, so my practice is based on research evidence. So we don't address vertebral subluxations because there's no research out there that actually proves that there's this called vertebral subluxations. I mean, the profession has evolved, and you could agree that half of the schools, even more than half of the schools, don't even mention vertebral subluxations. So what we address here at my clinic, it's our misalignments. And you can have a misalignment in your shoulders, in your feet, in your toes, any part of your body, and it's addressing the same thing as you are, which is nerve conduction. So why would you only adjust the spine? You're adjusting something that technically doesn't exist. You're adjusting by fate.
You have a minute, 30 left.
Oh, I have a minute. I thought it was 20 seconds.
Oh, you
No,
said
I
extra.
added.
Oh, okay. So the point is here that here what we do, I mean, the profession, as I mentioned before, has changed and has evolved into a way that we need to move more into a therapeutic era, into a profession, because chiropractors in themselves don't agree with the definition of chiropractic, and even the state boards of the state that I'm practicing at say that chiropractic is a therapeutic for pain. And we address everything that the patient is going to us for the purpose of correcting that interrupts their nerve function. And so, I don't know what else to say.
No, that's okay. I mean, and be confident, you're doing great. Are you done for this round?
Yeah.
Okay, reset the clock.
And now in a typical debate, so I just want to like the debate and how it goes is that you get like each person says their piece, and now you get to respond to what he said,
Okay, excellent.
right?
Yes. And how many, do I have the same 2 minutes?
You should have the same 2 minutes. I was
Okay,
in a
thank you.
big class.
I would like to respond to my distinguished opponents.
You did have a recession of a few minutes to gather stuff,
Dude,
but
okay,
you're good.
just-
2 minutes started.
Yeah, okay. I would be very interested into looking at your line of thinking in establishing proof. As Albert Einstein said, when invited to the meetings of the scientific world in the research as you're talking about, he would never go to these meetings because there is no way to establish proof. Once again, what we're looking at is the measurement of life, which does not exist. We're looking for an empirical measurement of body function to establish what innate normal is, and that does not exist, because innate normal is different for every human being. And in theory, with research that can validate with what you're doing, but also can be argued against with what you're doing as well, and adding motion to an area. And I would be interested to know how you're determining where nerve interference is and by what empirical measures you are using to measure that nerve interference. with vertebral subluxation, we are not relying on empirical evidence as much as we are relying on the logic. That what we are saying is that a vertebrae in the spine, based on the anatomical structures, can possibly misalign. And that possible misalignment, given that there is no empty spaces in the human body, can produce some element of nerve interference. And we can logically say that any pressure on nerve tissue can suddenly change the structure of that nerve tissue, which will change the function of that nerve tissue. And we can logically say, based on observation, that the nerve system appears to be the system that conducts mental impulse supply. And when you change the structure of anything, you will therefore change the function, which will inevitably interfere with the expression of mental impulse. And if a bone of any kind, which specifically a vertebrae, can misalign, have an occlusion of a foramen, interfere with nerve tissue, and logically interfere with mental impulse, therefore it can be adjusted back to its normal position, which we can never know because it's based on innate normal, unique for each individual. Yes?
2 minutes.
So I agree with everything that you say. And as you know, but I do.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you said, but as you know, the central nervous system definitely controls our body. But here's the thing. Why only resolve to spinal manipulation when you can do laser and it's going to get more results than what you're doing? It's been proven, and you have objective measurements, that by doing this laser, you're going to have a better improvement in the physical state of the body instead of doing...
Are you saying laser? Did you say laser?
Laser.
Okay.
Laser.
Okay.
Just by doing spinal manipulations only to the spine. How I do it, I do have objective measurements that we do measure the progress of the patient throughout this whole process that we actually have in the records, and I could show you them if you were to ask them for it. Why only stay with the focus of correcting vertebral subluxations when you can do so much more to the patient, things that we are actually teach in school, we are taught in school to do. If you have all these things to do as a profession, why only limit yourself to do only one thing if you could collectively help the patient more by doing all these things overall?
Okay, reset the clock.
By the way, this is not why I stand for. I'm just...
No, it's but I think when you argue, even for something you don't stand for, it makes you more knowledgeable and gives you the holes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Set the clock.
2 minutes.
Okay. We are talking about 2 different topics. If we are concerned from a therapeutic standpoint, then yes, we would incorporate all of these things to make us better therapists. What I'm advocating as a straight chiropractor is to disassociate from all health, from all disease, from all therapy, and simply say a vertebral subluxation, based on logic, is a very bad thing because it interferes with the expression of life on the spinal level, specifically mental impulse. And I would question any research that says the body's getting better here or there from any therapy when we do not know what innate normal is. So we must use logic. We must use deductive reasoning with our empirical inductive thinking as well. So with that being said, it is an absolute conviction that the potential exists for a bone to misalign, produce nerve interference, and interfere with the expression of mental impulse, regardless of what physiological function that is interfering with, and whether or not it caused any disease. That entity is a bad thing in and of itself with the interference of mental impulse, therefore warranting the analysis and the specific adjustment of that vertebral subluxation. And to do anything else in chiropractic is to dilute the ability to be the best at analyzing that vertebral subluxation, facilitating the adjustment, and most important, educating the public on exactly how chiropractic can help them, not in a temporary basis, but throughout their life, where the true benefit of chiropractic exists through the habit of the correction of vertebral subluxations. And adding anything else to the objective of chiropractic dilutes that objective and dilutes our ability to educate the public so they can benefit. And you can finish it.
Okay.
You can finish it. This is going to be the finish of the debate.
So how can it be a logical reasoning if you're going something that it's not proving or it does not exist? What we do here in this practice is that we actually go by facts. When we address the musculoskeletal injuries and diseases that are proven to be assisted, and the way that we correct them or fix them is through measurements that are proven scientifically and clinically. We do not address vertebral subluxations because they are not proven. There's no research that says they're there. Even on the so-called philosophy of chiropractic, it's theoretical. It's not proven anyhow. And it's been 125 years since the profession was invented. And still, though there's no progress on what vertebral subluxation is, what we do focus is in what actually exists, which are traumas, which are musculoskeletal injuries, which are fixations, which are nerve compressions. We do not address vertebral subluxations because they itself do not exist. Therefore, what we focus is on clinical relevant injuries.
Okay? So can we do closing statements now?
Closing statements?
Okay, closing statements.
Did you write these out?
Oh, I have it in my head.
Okay.
Okay, closing statements. My distinguished opponent has consistently stated proof, but yet has not explained in what way that a proof is being established. And my distinguished opponent also keeps saying that vertebral subluxations do not exist. And my debate is the only reason you say that does not exist is because it does not fit your empirical model. And your empirical model lacks scientific repeatability. That all research is bias, and that biasm can really interfere with the conclusions. And if we want to see these conclusions, look first to who is sponsoring the research projects. With chiropractic, we operate off of speculation, and that speculation is based on massive logic of structural anatomy and possibility. In the way the anatomy is shaped, in the way that we study the anatomy, there is the possibility that bones can misalign, produce nerve interference that interfere with the structure of the nerve tissue and ultimately, logically, interfere with the expression of mental impulse. And research on an empirical level has not caught up with this theory. Like so many theories that work with the human body, from nutrition to air to sleep, chiropractic is speculation backed by deductive logic and reasoning. And the analysis that is truly a repeatable science in the location of a vertebral subluxation, what the innate intelligence is trying to do with that vertebral subluxation, and the adjustment of that vertebral subluxation, that is researched consistently through different analysis and similar data points. And if we can focus exclusively on that, we can further our understanding and perhaps even have empirical evidence to support that as well, beyond therapeutic.
Wasn't that it? I'll just be making stuff up.
Okay, that's good. And you did great, and you did great, you really did. So give him a round of applause. Because we have to say, look, at some point, look, this is speculation. And guys, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm off, maybe I missed something, maybe I'm not that bright. So you look at the research and you tell me, you show me one research project going on right now that isn't a therapeutic research project. Chiropractic getting rid of this condition, that condition, this, that, or the other.
I actually have one.
Go ahead.
No, the research. I mean,
Yeah.
It's research made by Epic Techniques,
Yes?
and they actually address the vertebral subluxation and how it impacts nerve interference, which is actually really cool.
And then they also say that it's corrected by manipulation.
Yeah, they use the word manipulation so it can be published.
And so who did this research? Was it chiropractic
So
or?
they sold,
They
they
sold out.
sold it.
Epic technique.
Okay, oh, Epic Technique. And who do they do it under? Was it the American Journal of Manipulative Therapy?
Let me check, actually.